Yesterday, we talked about practicing without regard to one's body and life, in sharpening these 5 controlling faculties, namely Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, that one should practice without regard to one's body, one's life. One should not have regard to one's body. One should not have sympathetic feeling towards one's life. This practice is to practice at the risk of one's body and life. Only then one is bound to acquire the powerful energy. One has got to take risks. Then only one will acquire assured powers in terms of these controlling faculties. And in a sense, one will acquire assured happiness. That's why yesterday we discussed, in accordance with this expression as given in the path of purification. Actually, this is the words of the Buddha. Kayecha, jivitecha, anapekata, vatapeti, establishing disregard of one's body and life. So this means that one should regard. We also discussed that one should not consider. One should not have any consideration for one's own body. One should regard one's body as impure, repulsive, foul. Even consider it as a dead one, a rotten body. A rotten body will not be desired by anybody. So too, we won't have any attachment to our body. And as regards life also, we should regard our life as our own enemy. An enemy will not wish for your welfare or your prosperity. So too you should regard your life as such. Then you will be free from regard to your life. With this risk, you'll be able to acquire these controlling faculties, beginning with the controlling faculty of faith and confidence, saddha, which will sharpen and become clear-cut. For this reason we discussed yesterday, and today also we shall continue on this subject because there are some important points to be discussed. Saddha, there must be something to depend upon so that one will see the truth. The true nature of things will become, the saddha will become, faith for the truth will become very strong and unshaken, because one will come to acceptance and resolution, such as saddha, faith and confidence. And if one is practicing without regard to one's body and life, otherwise one will not be able to cultivate this saddha, faith and confidence, to a stage that one should be able to a reliable stage. So one must take risks. Buddha himself had taken risks prior to his enlightenment. He practiced without regard to the Buddha's body and life. Only when you take risks will you see the true nature of things from the basics through the stages of insight knowledge. Excuse me. Just by reading books will not be enough to observe the true nature of things. Not from hearsay, not from what the teachers say, not from your own intellectual reasoning, one will not be able to see the truth from the basics. So in order to see the truth, to observe the true nature of things, one must be grounded in basic moral conduct, applying mindfulness, deepening concentration to cultivate insight knowledge, to see the truth. As it has been said, that Sadato Yatha Bhutam Pajanati, that means with the concentration, one will see things as they really are. Not from what the books say, not from what the teachers say, not from the hearsay, not from your own reasoning, not from your own conceptualization, but from direct experience called Atapichaka. That means your noting consciousness should be concurrent with the object to be noted. Then you will cultivate insight. Then with one insight, at every insight, you will come to acceptance that this is good, this is correct. Another insight, another acceptance, and so on. So this, seeing the truth, is panya, wisdom, and coming to acceptance and resolution is faith. Then, when at last one comes to realize the liberating knowledge, seeing, observing the cessation, ultimate cessation, then one will come to say that, oh, this is correct. Your saddha will increase by leaps and bounds and become steadfast and will not be disrupted. Even if you are given, say, millions of dollars, that you must not believe, you will still believe. Even if you are given a lot of money, a lot of wealth, your faith and confidence will not be disrupted. Even if you are threatened, if your life is threatened, saying that, oh, if you don't believe this, if you believe in it, we'll kill you. So if you don't believe in it, if you say you have no faith, then we'll spare you. Even then, even if you are threatened, if your life is threatened, your faith and confidence will not be disrupted. And it is said that even if somebody, an eloquent speaker, comes and talks to you, in such a so much as to make a marble statue smile, so to speak, you will not be shaken. You will not change your faith and confidence, and such is your faith unshakable and steadfast. So, however much your faith is attacked, however much people will come and talk to you out of faith, you will not change this faith. So much is this steadfast. So steadfast is your faith and confidence. Such is power. Power means unshaken. You are not moved. You are not affected. Though there may be occasions to be affected, to be shaken, your faith and confidence will not be shaken. Will be steadfast. Will be strong. Excuse me. And energized. As much as your faith and confidence increases, so will be your courage, heroic courage, to abstain from what should be abstain. In this case, debauchery does. The immoral deeds. Immoral deeds are to be abstained, and one should have courage to do it. There are not many people who have enough courage to abstain from immoral deeds. Debauchery does. And also you must have courage to observe what should be observed. And although there are many people who have enough courage to observe what should be observed, there aren't many people who have enough courage to abstain from what should be abstained, namely the immoral deeds. So, with such powers, you'll be able to cultivate your mindfulness and then deepen your concentration, and not to speak of wisdom, which will arise as a result of your concentration. So all these factors, states will become very strong, unshaken. They reach until they come to the stage of maturity of the liberating knowledge, until you see the cessation, ultimate cessation. And your knowledge, your wisdom, will not be disrupted, nor will your views will not go wrong, will not be shaken. And there will be no problem, no social problems. As far as you are concerned, all your social problems, personal problems will be solved. And if individual problems are solved, so will the problems of the society. The social problems of the society will be solved. There will be no entanglement here and now and in future. There will be this Dhamma gives assurance, so that you are disentangled from this entanglement. You are free from entanglement, or you are free from the tangle, both in this life and in the future, if you have to continue your existence in future. So all your entanglements will be overcome. And for this, towards this end, you've got to practice by investing, so to speak, your body and life. That means at the risk of your body and life. That doesn't mean that by risking your body means you will get disease, you will contract disease, or by risking your life you will die. It's not so. In fact, with the practice, you can even overcome certain diseases in a wonderful manner. And as about life, you can prolong your life even with the practice of this Dhamma. Dukkhaṃ tanna nidana. That's what the expression says. Dukkhaṃ means that can be suffering physically and mentally. Both the body and mind can suffer. The suffering due to your body and the mind. And even if you come to a good life, you will not be free from the universal suffering of old age, disease and death. Although you don't want to get old, you get old. Although you don't want to contract disease, you become sick. Although you don't want to die, you die and last. If so long as there is a body, there has to be suffering as a result of the body. And so long as you have the mind, there will be mental distress or suffering as regards the mind. So you are not relieved from suffering, either bodily or mentally. More so if you have committed unwholesome deeds and be reborn or come to fall into wrongful or lower destinies or lower existences, lower births, it will be more frightful. And that's why it says tanna nidana. The root cause lies in craving for pleasurable things, pleasurable sight, sound, taste, touch, and so on, and more pleasurable things, better and better ones, craving for better and better objects. So one does not get contented with what one has. There's always wanting and wanting. There's no end to wanting. So that one becomes slave to craving, tanna. That means tanna, craving, gains the upper hand. And not you gaining the upper hand. Instead of you gaining the upper hand, you become slave of tanna. You have to do what tanna asks you to do. Whether rain or shine, you have to look for, you have to search, you have to go in search of food, clothing, shelter for yourself and for your family. And that's not trivial. That's quite a lot of work to do. That's why they said, uno logo adedo. That means because you are not contented. You are never contented. That's why you become a slave of your craving. And there's no contentment because you want to go on wanting and wanting. If you get a little bit, you want more and more of that thing. There is no limit to it. So long as there is discontentment, you will be like this. You will be in this situation. Even in industrialized countries, developed countries, the standard of living is high, and one has got to live a life to be in keeping with the existing standard of living, and more and better situation, better and better standard of living. And either individually or family-wise or group-wise or even nation-wise. One nation to be better than another nation in terms of material wealth and living conditions, living status. So there's no end to fulfillment. That's what the Buddha said. Uno logo adido. Tanna daso. One becomes a slave of tanna, craving. And in this way, this leads to social problems. Because tanna, craving, is ordering or asking you, pushing you to search and search for ever new things, commodities or whatever, so that you become slave to craving. And as you are searching for things, for your requirements, sometimes you are confronted with problems, difficult situations, and at times you may be committing unwholesome deeds, immoral deeds, treachery to us, so that you fall into inferior states, such as being disciplined by authorities. And in this way, your social problems becomes complex. You are involved in these complex, insoluble social problems. The root cause lies in tanna, craving, which makes you become a slave of it. The practice of meditation is to be free from craving, to be free from this slavery. It's said that Bhikkhu, the name of the Bhikkhu, why the bhikkhu is called as such because one sees danger in the round of existence, samsara. Samsara means the process of mind and body, such as seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, living, moving, placing, bending, stretching. All these activities are called samsara, the round of existence. And also the samsara means continuation of existences now and in future. And let alone the future existence, let's just try to see the situation even in this present samsara existence. Must see this process, mind-body process, as fearful, frightful, gives you the name bhikkhu. Bhikkhu is called as such. If there is no tanha, craving, there will be no suffering. So tanha, craving is the root cause of suffering. How do we avoid, how do we overcome this? How do we avoid, how do we overcome, how do we weaken? And we must find a method to overcome this craving. First of all, we must find out where does this tanha come from? It comes from the sense of pleasures, pleasures of senses, pleasures of sight, sound, taste, touch, and so on. All these things are craving. Seeing is good, hearing is good, and so on. They come from this activities, sense of pleasures. And because one is not activating mindfulness with proper meticulous attention, then because one is not paying attention, one is not being mindful, these cravings arise. Even if one is not cultivating insight knowledge, if only one is applying mindfulness, the tanha craving will not have a chance to arise in your stream of consciousness. That is the practice of satipatthana, way of mindfulness. Noting at the place, at the site of tanha, at the site of craving, where tanha arises. That must be the place where you must note, so that this tanha craving will not have a chance to arise. And when your noting consciousness is very strong, then insight will arise. As much as insight arises, the craving will fade away gradually, until when one realizes the path consciousness, the relevant respective craving, respective kilesas, the impurities will be cut off, will be overcome. So, seeing the mind-body process, seeing the danger in mind-body process, nama-rupa process, makes you calls you a bhikkhu. And the root cause lies in, the root cause of tanha is the root cause of suffering, and one must destroy this root cause of suffering. So another rendering of bhikkhu comes in, kilese benedicti bhikkhu. That means bhikkhu is called as such because one as bhikkhu destroys or kills the impurities, kilesas. First, bhikkhu is called as such because one is fearful of the round of existence, mind-body process, and another rendering is destroying, because one destroys kilesas, one is called as such, bhikkhu as such. Bhikkhu means it can be monks, it can also be the practitioners, lay practicing yogis. They all come under bhikkhu, not just the monks. But just calling yourself bhikkhu and just being afraid of samsara is not enough. One must fulfill the required qualities, that is to overcome, practice to overcome the root cause of suffering, namely the kilesas, in this case craving. In the text is given, this bhikkhu is given as yoga vajra, practitioner, or meditate, the one who meditates. As you are all doing, applying mindfulness energetically, focusing your noting mind on the object, and a person living mindfully with mindfulness is called yoga vajra, or simply yogi, or at this point we may call bhikkhu. To solve and overcome social problems, in this case the tanha, one must fulfill one's quality. That means a person who calls himself or herself a bhikkhu or yogi must have the qualities, which are 6 in all, as given here. The first one is sila. One must be fulfilled with moral conduct.
well grounded in virtue and virtuous conduct. The second quality is one's mind must be unified. Third one is one must be able to possess panya, wisdom, beginning with the discernment of mind and body and the nature of mind and body. And the fourth one is one must have matured reasoning power. Then one must possess the knowledge at the time of birth. And then the application of ardent energy. One must be energetic. In short, one must possess sila, morality, concentration, and three kinds of wisdom, and ardent energy, or lula-viriya, exertion of energy. And once one has these qualities, one can be said to conform to this rendering of Bhikkhu as seeing the danger in the rounds of rebirth, or rounds of the mind-body process, and destroying the kilesas, defilements. To just go back systematically, first we'll talk about this atapa lula-viriya, application of ardent energy or exertion of energy. Energy applied, atapa means drying up kilesas, defilements. And to dry up kilesas, impurities, one must exert energy in stages. Then only one will become the possessor of energy, that means adapi. To put it down to practice, the yogi must possess three stages or grades of virya energy. First of all, the arambha dhatu, initial launching energy. The second stage is to boosting up the energy when one is confronted with difficult situations. And thirdly, you must apply your energy, raise your energy in stages until you reach the goal. Then you become what you call atapi, the owner of, or the one who exerts energy. Then we have this nipaka, maturity of wisdom, or power of reasoning, as we have discussed Anapana, the power of intellectual reasoning. Such as if we undertake the practice of Satipatthana, it is bound to gain benefits. Such is sadhaka samajanya, full understanding and comprehension of as to its appropriateness, that this is a time to undertake the practice, because if we undertake the practice, it's bound to be beneficial, especially when we are healthy, when there is a good opportunity, then we should practice. This is suitability, sabbaya samajanya, full comprehension as to the suitability of things. Whatever you do, whatever you speak, if you are able to apply these two comprehensions, and then you are bound to succeed, namely sadhaka samajanya, full comprehension as to its appropriateness, and sabbaya samajanya, full comprehension as to the suitability of things. So whatever you do, you have these comprehension, reasoning, then as you make it a practice, you will reach maturity of this wisdom or reasoning power. Such is nipaka, maturity of wisdom. Now the yogis have come here to practice with ardent energy. They have already reasoned out intellectually. So there's no need to talk about the kind of reasoning power they already possess. Then continue to reason out when to sit, where to sit, how to sit, when to start walking meditation, and how to do walking meditation. Such things, activities, reasoning, come under these two kinds of comprehension, sadhaka samajanya and sabbaya samajanya, comprehension as to appropriateness and suitability. And this subject is quite wide. And in this way one comes to possess nipaka, maturity of reasoning power, and be grounded in basic moral conduct. This is given by the expression sila patitaya, established in morality, so that one practices the restraint of one's physical and verbal behaviors. So long as one practices restraint, then one is said to be grounded in morality, sila. One is established in sila. One is said to be fulfilled with sila. After that, what to do? Then activate your mindfulness. Guard yourself with mindfulness of every rising, attentively. Then deepen your concentration, chaitanya pavaya. And then with the attentive application of mindfulness, you are bound to deepen your concentration, such as the practice of the purification of the mind or concentration of the mind, so that You purify your mind by stages until you are able to cultivate knowledge, insight from the basics, such as Pinya, Bhavana, practice of wisdom. As one continues to undertake the practice of Satipatthana Bhavana until one comes to the stage of insight stage, known as Jnana, the fleeting momentary nature of experience, seeing the illuminations, experiencing joy and rapture and tranquility, piti passaddhi. At this stage, one can say that one has this intuitive knowledge, born when one was born. Kamaja, Tihetuka, Patisandhi. Namely, the three wholesome roots, alova, adosa, amoha, non-greed, non-hatred, non-delusion. These three things are wholesome roots, which one possesses at the moment of birth. So, this kind of wholesome roots has been all along have been continued throughout your lifetimes. So that also it comes about, you come to possess this at the time of birth or rebirth. This is also known as Jati Panya, the Panya at the born of birth, knowledge or wisdom, or initial one's own intuitive knowledge or wisdom. So, of course, one need not try to cultivate this kind of wisdom purposely. It has been all along with you intuitive, inherent, not wisdom. One can find out whether one possesses this or not when one reaches the stage of the insight stage known as Jnana. Then one knows that one is this knowledge of at the time of birth. So, if one possesses this knowledge, then one can take the initiative. One can be your own leader. That is given by the expression Nara. So, with the practice of Atava, ardent energy, exertion of energy, and possession of Nipaka, maturity of wisdom, and being grounded in morality, Sila, with the development of mind and insight, Citta and Panya Bhavana, one will be able to solve these social problems and also overcome this craving, which are the causes of social problems. So these 6 qualities, especially Panya Bhavana is important out of these 6 qualities, and immediately at present, one will be able to overcome this net of craving, the entanglement of craving. Otherwise, unknowingly, we will cling, we will grasp. If we don't understand, we're bound to grasp. That means we'll be caught in the net of craving, so that one will not be free from the process of mind and body, as is given in the Jalini, the net of craving. Unknowing, by not knowing, we are caught up in this net of craving, because we are attached to things, so that we'll be entangled in the tangle. If we know, then we'll be able to abandon it. Especially with the practice of mindfulness, in order to cultivate insight, beginning with the mind and body discernment and the conditionality and the universal characteristics, you will not give a chance for the tanha to arise, craving to arise. And with the cultivation of insight, as much as you do, you'll be able to overcome this craving. And until you are able to, when you realize the path consciousness, you'll be able to remove this entanglement. And not to say when you reach the stage of arahantship, the final path, all your social problems will be solved, both inside and outside. So the social problems are very complicating. Entanglement is a great tangle, and this will cause you unhappy. And whoever doesn't want to suffer, wants to be free from suffer, should possess these 6 qualities, especially Citta Bhavana and Panya Bhavana, the development of the mind and insight, so that one will not be caught up in this net of craving. Instead, by knowing, we are abandoning. So that seeing suffering, seeing the dangers in around our rebirth, and killing the kilesas, you'll be free from the net of craving, from suffering, because you're killing the root cause, namely the craving. So that that's what the Buddha has said. As much as you're able to cultivate insight, you'll be free from the net of craving. That means you'll be able to disentangle the tangle. So to solve the social problems, the method of social problems means to overcome social problems is to practice the way of mindfulness, Satipatthana. And if you practice Satipatthana, you'll come to possess these 6 qualities. That's all.